Robert's rule.
Be real?
Bryce, do I do this?
Look on this bear. Okay, I think so.
Do that quick.
How about like
Yeah.
How do you get it that way? See, you don't have to put you in the right spot.
David, Ryan,
Yes! Get it, Ron.
haven't done it yet. Have not done it yet. Marcus. Where's Ruger?
Well, okay. Well, they don't matter to me, so
No, right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the class of 2022.
Class of 2022.
Please join me in welcoming to the lectern Senior Class Officer Anna Lawson.
Hello. Please rise for the national anthem. Sorry. Please be seated. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Davenport, for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Rhinebeck High School senior class. It is my absolute pleasure and privilege to initiate the graduation ceremony of the class of 2022. I would like to warmly welcome the friends and family who are here today to help us celebrate this milestone, and offer a huge congratulations to all my fellow classmates for this important accomplishment. We should all be so proud. It is an extraordinary thing to grow up with the same group of 70 kids for most of your life. When you spend so many years together, you come to share pieces of yourself and your soul with each other. I know that there are parts of me that will always belong to this class. Since our kindergarten years, the world has become a different place, and we have grown as people. Over time, we have watched each other grow up and begin to plan for our futures. I am certain that no matter where we all end up, we will bring the integrity of character instilled in us by the Rhinebeck Central School District. Truly, none of this would be possible without the dedication and caring commitment that the Rhinebeck teachers and staff showed us every single day. I would also like to say a special thank you to our principal, Dr. Davenport, for his continued guidance and leadership throughout these especially trying last few years. Mr. Davenport helped us build our confidence by always making us feel heard and respected. So thank you, Mr. Davenport, for everything you do. Today is a day to reflect on and be grateful for our time at Rhinebeck, but it is also a day to be eager for our next chapter. We have bright futures ahead of us. I would now like to introduce the Superintendent of the Rhinebeck Central School District, Mr. Albert Cousins. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Good evening. What a beautiful day to celebrate our students and their families. Certainly, we're all feeling a mix of emotions about this milestone. In some ways, the past few years were like the most epic marathon, a twisting and only uphill one, that we celebrate our finish with pride and accomplishment, and maybe even one of those cool silver blankets that we get at the end of a marathon. But in other ways, this time comes with some sense of loss of what could have been, and that we rushed so much to make the most of the little time we had together in school. Whatever you are feeling about this day or how you make sense of your time in school over the last 13 years, it mostly has to do with your mind and all the ways that you haven't or couldn't change your mind. Tonight, I will share some insight about mind changing, not in the mystical way, but in the biological way, and why that's so hard to do. Very little about your time in high school was traditional, But here we are today presenting ourselves in a ceremony that is anchored in tradition, which is both comforting and confusing at the same time. I feel the same way about American schools in general. Every person graduating here today had an experience that was probably very similar, in some ways identical, to the experience of each person in the audience. There have been few innovations in how we think about academic subjects, classrooms, and how the days in the year are organized. Despite serious advances in the study of human development, technologies, motivation, and brain science, other than devices that replace some supplies we use, schools have remained mostly unchanged, even with the pandemic. Why is that? What is it about change that confounds us? That same stranglehold on keeping things as they are goes beyond schools or other institutions. It's actually a phenomenon that has a neurobiological basis that manifests itself in everything we do, who we interact with, how we make sense of what we see, what we read, and what we experience. One of the most difficult challenges for human beings is to change one's mind. And if we think that is hard, the difficulty doubles or triples in changing the mind of others. Stanford economist Matthew Jackson discussed this phenomenon on one of my favorite podcasts, Freakonomics, the tagline, the hidden side of everything. He shares, people tend to associate with other people who are very similar to themselves. So we end up talking to people most of the time who have very similar past experiences and similar views of the world, and we tend to underestimate that. People don't realize how isolated their world is. And as we get older and have more resources, time, and capacity to decide on who we associate with and the experiences that we have, we isolate ourselves even further. As we age, we get more and more entrenched in our beliefs. New research on the brain contradicts long-held beliefs about loss in brain plasticity, which is the capacity for the brain to develop new pathways among adults. In fact, we now know that brains are more impacted by our social behaviors, our sorting, our instinct to divide into the us's and the them's. Who we surround ourselves with and what we choose to experience impacts the brain's capacity to see things in a different way, or in short, to change our mind. It's not the more you know. In fact, education experience, expertise in any area in any way, makes humans very skilled at seeking out information that confirms our beliefs and able to ignore information that does not. At a primal level, we have a tendency not to go against the tide that we've been swimming in. So students, what I'm asking you to do is to be a strong swimmer and pay attention to the tides that you're currently in. You have to work to seek out people and ideas that balance you, and it cannot happen from reading more or learning more. It doesn't come from a louder voice or a more convincing argument. It happens from spending time with people and finding what is common and what unites. A well-balanced network of diverse perspectives is going to serve you well. The data is clear. Your capacity to think flexibly, to respond to setbacks and challenges, to bounce back, is directly linked to your job satisfaction and to your salary. So if you want to be satisfied and wealthy, surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking and your beliefs. A favorite quote of mine is by Kevin Kelly, the founder of Wired magazine. He says, "The more you are interested in others, the more interesting they find you. To be interesting, be interested." And I'll say that applies to every connection you can make in school, at work, or even dating. To be interesting, be interested. Be curious, ask questions, listen, and then ask more questions. Being surprised will keep you young. So put yourself in situations that maximize the potential to be surprised. And before I wrap this up, I wanted to share a personal noticing I made about the Rhinebeck High School class of 2022. This group of students care about each other, and they are generous with their kindness. There's two vignettes, I will say. At the very last varsity boys basketball game, Coach Aristock, I saw you on the way in. So in the final seconds of that game, emotions were running high, and I was so struck and moved, actually, just about the care and compassion that the team showed for each other, and particularly for their seniors. That was very special. And the second one is on the very last day of school. Instead of sharing water balloons, they shared hugs. The entire senior parking lot was full of seniors, and I've never seen so many hugs in my life at a high school. It was a poignant moment, and there was genuine respect and friendship among them. It is that characteristic, that tightness and togetherness that will always sit with me when I think of the class of 2022. So on behalf of the district, I congratulate each of you and wish you long, interesting lives surrounded by love of your friends and family. Congratulations. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the president of the Rhinebeck Central School District Board of Education, Diane Lyons.
Good evening. On behalf of my colleagues on the Board of Education, let me add my congratulations to the families, friends, and the amazing 75 individuals next to me. Class of 2022, tonight is your night to celebrate all that you have accomplished. My hope is that you feel prepared for your next steps, no matter if you're going to college or the military, taking a gap year, or going into the workforce. The education you received in your years at Rhinebeck will help you in this transition. In speaking with your counselors and teachers, what I've discovered about this year's class is that they're ready. They have been described as resilient and strong. During all the challenges that COVID brought, they persevered, and when the worst was past, they were ready to get life going again and relished in their everyday experiences. This group is confident in who they are and what they want to accomplish. They are most often described as a happy group of kids. Community service is not required by the state of New York for graduation, but here in Rhinebeck, it's something that our community strongly values, so it is a local requirement of our district. Over the last years, the requirement out of necessity has been relaxed, as opportunities were severely limited. However, we live in a community that understands the power of working together to help others. We understand the benefits that can be gained when we pool our talents. As students, you have benefited over the years from the many individuals in our community that have volunteered to help enhance your experience. They shared their knowledge and skills at events such as Discovery Festival, Career Day, Info Chat. They volunteer to raise money that is used to provide programs and events in our schools. And they volunteer their time on the soccer fields and at Field Day and many other events. And many of you have taken your turn providing service back to our community. Despite COVID, you gave back. 14 of our seniors gave more than double or triple the required hours. A few of you completed over 200 hours. And combined, the class of 2022 provided 2,336 hours of community service. That's truly impressive. It speaks highly of your character and commitment to our community. Helping others will serve you well throughout your life, and I hope you will continue to do so. As a very close-knit class, I'm sure you will rely on each other as you take off for all parts of the country and beyond, going as far as Colorado, Arizona, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Ohio, and Montreal, with plans to study fields in biomedical engineering, medicine, zoology, carpentry, journalism, and animation, just to name a few. Class of 2022, it's students like you that will shape our world, decide what homes will look like in the future, how to deal with climate change, advance medicine, create new technology, and make the next big fashion statement. For now, you should know that you have left your mark on Rhinebeck, in the classroom, through the arts, and in athletics. I wish you the best of luck going forward and can't wait to see what you do next. Keep enjoying the sunrise. Congratulations, class of 2022.
Thank you, President Lyons. Please join me in welcoming to the lectern senior class officers Matthew Rakuya and Jack Viator.
Before I get started, I just wanted to thank Ms. Hahn, our senior class advisor, for everything she's done for us. And shout out to the council, too. Some say bigger is better. Some might think the only way to get a true high school experience is by attending a big school. I've always said I wish I went to a bigger school. The football games, the homecomings, the pep rallies, it all seems so magical. But who knows where I'd be if that came true. I realize that I'm lucky enough to know everybody that I'm graduating with. Whether we never speak, we're best friends, to getting married in elementary school, or that awkward feeling that we dated for 2 weeks in middle school. No matter where we stand, I've made unforgettable memories with everyone sitting next to me. To the wild memories made with Mr. Carney freshman year, to those beautiful 2 weeks off during sophomore year, to laying in bed on Zoom with the camera off junior year, and to acting like we all didn't bang out our passion projects in 3 days. Sorry. Nobody can ever take away the fact that we made it and we graduated. If you look back and realize that our only 2 full years of high school were freshman year and senior year, it's hard to believe that through all the ups and downs, we made it and we graduated. Also, think about all the challenges we faced outside of COVID. High school heartbreaks, acne, Mr. Boucher's global class. I truly believe that if we can get through that, we deserve to be sitting here today getting our diplomas. My senior quote was a saying by late rapper Juice WRLD. If you know me, that's not really a shock. The quote said, "As long as you work hard, give it your all, and don't listen to what anybody got to say. It's your world, you can do what you want." I hope you all take that into consideration as we go our separate ways. Whatever it is you may do with your life, make sure you're happy doing it. Work hard, give it your all, and I have confidence you all do great things. So allow me to introduce your class president and my friend, Matthew Rakuya. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Class of 2022, parents, attendees, welcome. I'm so happy to see you all here. I hope you're all proud of the graduates in front of you who worked so hard to get here. I'd like to begin by thanking my family members, teachers, friends, and most importantly, my two sisters, who I can always count on. The class of 2022 truly had one of the toughest high school experiences throughout the pandemic. We had limited fundraising opportunities due to the lack of school events and sale of goods during the most important prom funding years. We had to adjust to 3 different AP test formats, and we had to live during a pandemic, but we all persevered. This year, however, I think we all yearned for a year of redemption. We wanted a normal, COVID-less senior year. I believe the school did a wonderful job making the pandemic feel a thing of the past, of the near past, and allowing us to grow stronger in and out of the classroom and open up in new ways and break barriers we might have not even known existed. We overcame, we grew, and we will continue to grow and achieve great things in years to come. 5 years ago, I moved here from Central New Jersey. I struggled to ingrain myself in the Rhinebeck community. I was timid, almost unwilling to speak to others. Now in front of me are 71 students I can happily call my peers. A community I can confidently call mine, and the memories that we made will last with us forever. Even as we grow and move on to bigger things, all of us will graduate as a Rhinebeck Hawk. This morning, I found myself watching the NBA 2016 highlights where LeBron came back from a 3-1, and the coach, Tyronn Lue, said, "The 2 biggest days in your life are the day you're born and the day you discover why you're born and what you're born for." And I believe that we're all gonna grow and discover what we're gonna do. I think that this senior class is bound to be great. I'm so happy I shared my high school experience with all of you and represent this class. Congratulations, class of 2022. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Matt and Jack. I now call to the lectern Senior Class Officer Catherine Bikert.
Good evening. As you know, my name is Katie Bikert. I'm the senior class treasurer. When looking back on the past 25 years, students who have a passion for the arts are not the typical Salutatorian or Valedictorian. And over the past year of crashing Ms. Giles' art classes every day for 8th and 9th periods, I've gotten to know and see the creative processes of one of the most talented artists I've ever met. And though she's told me several times she doesn't know how she managed to be top 2 of the class, she knows she's worked hard for this well-deserved achievement. Please welcome the Rhinebeck class of 2022 Salutatorian, Evelyn Cooper.
Thank you, Katie. As you have heard, my name is Evelyn Cooper, and I'm incredibly honored to be able to address all of my peers, staff, family, and friends at our commencement ceremony tonight. As the salutatorian of my class, being tasked to speak in front of all you has been so difficult and anxiety-inducing, to the point where I haven't been able to function properly for the past couple of weeks. Not only am I a terrible public speaker, but I also feel that it is difficult for one person, the heat, really? Right, like, for one person, especially someone as antisocial as me, to represent such a talented, strong-willed, and awfully chatty group of people. I can say that even while playing the observer for the past 13 years, I've seen the immense growth we've all had, not just as students, but as people. It's amazing to think that so much change has occurred in what is, in reality, such a short period of time. I believe that it is in order for us to recognize ourselves as individuals, but also acknowledge that we all share the same drive and determination to succeed. That determination is what has gotten us through the ongoing dumpster fire that is the world, and what has gotten us all here tonight to celebrate our achievements. So I encourage all you to give yourselves a hand and hype yourself up, because you absolutely deserve it. I'd now like to acknowledge the legacy and prestige that our class, and really every class, has had to carry as we venture on into the next chapter of our lives. It's no secret that academics and athletics are of the utmost importance here at Rhinebeck. In New York, we rank 113 out of over 1,500 public schools, land in the top 5% of all high schools for test scores in math and ELA, and have won multiple state, league, and division championships. Naturally, you would expect all of our students, especially those who have spoken to you tonight, to reflect these qualities, embodying the finest of what Rhinebeck High School has to offer. That's not me. I'll admit, I wasn't the kid sacrificing their lunch, spending hours cramming for exams, or the kid getting home late at night after playing sports all afternoon. No, I was spending my time creating art alone in my bedroom like a loser. But in all seriousness, I cannot begin to describe how instrumental art has been during my time at Rhinebeck. My admiration and commitment to the arts is unwavering. But with that comes many preconceived notions. I'll never forget being told, "I didn't expect you to be so smart for someone who wants to be an art major." I always felt like I was making the wrong choice. I felt like I was wasting intelligence on something that anyone could do. I felt like I should have sucked it up, taken AP classes, applied to 1,000,001 colleges, and then gone on to have an uneventful life and career doing something I couldn't care less about. However, I realize now that my defiance is what has gotten me here today. Having the nerve to say that I wanted to follow my dreams and be an artist for the rest of my life trumps everything I've done academically. The strengths that I had outside of so-called book smarts led me so much further than anything else, and the same is true for my peers as well. I want you all to know, you're all better than a bad grade or a missing assignment. The strengths that you possess span much greater than academics and will be what leads to your success in the future. If people didn't follow their dreams or utilize their abilities, who knows what we wouldn't have accomplished. Even if it's not obvious what your dream or passion is right now, rest assured that you'll find out soon enough. And if not, I don't know what to tell you. In closing, I'd like to personally thank our art department across the district as they are challenged to teach, I would argue, one of the most difficult subjects. The work that I've seen Ms. Johnson, Ms. Familietti, Ms. Bear, and Ms. Giles put into their classrooms and to their students is unlike that of any other teacher I've known. And do you know how expensive art supplies are? Guess how much a tube of acrylic paint is. You'll never get it. I'd also like to thank Mr. Davenport as he allowed me to submit my speech to him this morning. But in my defense, this is the only thing I've had to write all year that didn't have a specified 11:59 due date. And finally, to everyone who's seen me an anxious, crying mess, I'm sorry. But hey, you never have to see me again. I can at least say now that I have no regrets. Well, except for one. My only regret is that I don't get to have the last word. That honor, unfortunately, goes to someone else, but I can't remember his name. I don't know. I guess you'll hear from him later. But without further ado, thank you, and let's get this over with.
Thank you, Evelyn. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming back to the lectern Senior Class Officer Catherine Bikert.
Hi again. So I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker this evening, who, to be quite honest with you, and I'm very sorry, I don't remember anything from your class because COVID and it all kind of just left. So if you would please join me in introducing our guest speaker, the 9th grade English teacher, Mrs. Stephanie Baird.
Thank you, Katie. The Tempest Antigone, that's all you need. Hello, everyone. I'm truly honored to speak here today. When the class of 2022 asked me if I would, I was so touched and so terrified. Having never spoken at a Rhinebeck commencement, I received some bits of advice. Colin Reichelt suggested I just get up here and say whatever came to mind. That seems risky. Ms. Vandenthorn in the main office offered to help me with props. My 8-year-old son, Ben, suggested I tell a few jokes. I decided to go a different direction, but Ben did give me some material on the way out the door today, so we have some options if things go downhill. My introduction to this group was my first period class on the first day of school in 2018. It was the smallest class I've ever had, but Mark, Ian, Henry, Ben, David, Matt, Colin, Jack, Rada, and Ashley were a memorable group. We laughed and worked and shared together, and by second period, I was exhausted. That fall, I took the entire 9th grade to Bard College for a field trip. Students worked in small groups, they read poetry and wrote about identity, and at the end of the day, they all got on stage and performed for one another. I remember being so proud of their work and deep thinking. Later that day, however, as I looked through their reflections and feedback forms, it took me quite a while to find one that didn't mention the soft serve ice cream machines in the Bard cafeteria as one of the highlights of the day. You could have vanilla, chocolate, or twist, and as much as you wanted. I was still proud, and I mean, it's hard to compete with unlimited soft serve. In the months that followed, my fondness grew. Between Joey, Johanna, and Sana stopping by my classroom after school to sprawl out on the floor and chat, witnessing Colin and Marcus in a moment of pure joy in the writing center as they found the perfect way to incorporate Thomas the Tank Engine sound into their video production project, and seeing Jack's eyes glimmer as we debated whether or not the word nincompoop added power to an essay on fracking. This class is so unapologetically open and real. For this reason, the creative writing class has had a special place in my heart. Among others, Anna, Alexis, Edgar, Camden, Olivia, Hannah, and Alejandra laughed and shared every day. Rebecca and Laura's unofficial renaming the class, Creative Congregation, seems more than appropriate. Mr. Davenport, I swear they did write in there too, most days. My days were full of light and life, and then March 2020, the school doors closed, and there was nothing social about the distance. As I was home with my own children watching Frozen again and again and again, I worried and hoped the spark that defined the class of 2022 would not fade. On the first day of school this year, Bryce, Matt, and Megan excitedly popped into my classroom after school and asked, which movie's better, Cars or Cars 2? Two thoughts came to mind. One, obviously Cars 2, and two, the spark is still there. In no time, the writing center filled back up. Lizzie brought color and art. Nadia, Davin, Riley, Emily, and Maeve shared college essays and passion projects. I learned so much and was blown away by their writing and talent and eagerness. I'm still not sure I understand the role the shift plays in baseball strategy, but Dante's enthusiasm about it is palpable. There are so many more stories and memories of these graduates, and I could go on and on. The class of 2022 gives me hope for our world. To the graduates, continue to unabashedly read and love and cry and share, celebrate, write, laugh, and create. And if people or circumstances try to put out your spark, please remember all that you've endured and find strength in your history. And if that doesn't do the trick, I know a place you can get the best mediocre soft serve ice cream around. They even have Twist. Congratulations, class of 2022.
Thank you, Mrs. Baird. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the lectern Rada Lahiri.
Thank you. Logan Dykeman is a valedictorian for Rhinebeck High School's class of 2022. He will attend RPI this fall to major in electrical engineering. Despite the name of the major, this isn't shocking for someone like Logan. He has a strong, scientifically wired mind, everlasting sparks of curiosity, and high academic potential that will take him far. Outside of learning, he lights up the room with his positive attitude and humorous energy. I'm ecstatic for him, and as a classmate and dear friend, I couldn't be more proud of him. Here is Logan Dykeman.
Thank you, Rada, for your kind introduction. I'm not sure if I'm entirely worthy of those heartfelt comments, but I appreciate them and our friendship. Thank you to all of the teachers, school staff, administrators, Board of Education members, and of course, our families that have helped us along this journey to graduation and will continue to help us throughout life. In 2020, the uncertainty of COVID and its devastating toll on American lives caused many of us to reevaluate what it means to be grateful for good health and to treasure even the smallest joys in life with the people we care about the most. During those early days of isolation, my family began walking together each day. At first down the road from our home, and as the pandemic dragged on, we ventured farther from our home, exploring trails at parks we had never hiked, and eventually climbed steeper and rougher terrain. By the end of the first year of quarantine, we had recorded 1,000 miles of trails and roads throughout the Hudson Valley, something we had never accomplished before. We didn't start off with the goal of achieving this personal family record in March 2020 when schools first shut down for COVID, but as we continued to walk, this idea of accomplishing a milestone goal started to take shape. Each trek wasn't without mishaps. My legs were sore at first. We occasionally got lost. My brother Jack and I argued. Mom got poison ivy. We shivered in the winter and broiled in the sizzling summer sun, just like today. But together, we saw the beauty of the world around us that we hadn't appreciated until we needed this sanctuary during the darkest days of COVID. Sometime during this period, I began to reflect on what I had learned from these hiking trips. The pandemic was no doubt awful, but my family and I tried to make the best of it by taking the time to hike and reconnect with people I cared about the most, something I hadn't realized I was missing in my pre-COVID frenzied life. COVID initially awakened anxious feelings of uncertainty in our lives. However, if the uncertainty of life is met with perseverance, diligence, and faith in ourselves, we will not only survive, we can do great things. Even in our darkest moments, we should reflect on life's lessons that have helped us to achieve milestone goals in our own life's journeys. The skills and knowledge we have honed as a result of our life experiences will undoubtedly help us make decisions about our future that can transform us and the lives of others while achieving our own goals. Many of us on this stage right now are feeling uncertain about our future as we graduate from Rhinebeck High School and turn the page on this chapter of our lives. When the pandemic started, teachers and students almost instantaneously learned to Zoom, use online educational platforms on a daily basis, and found ways to be with each other while socially distancing. We were thrust into a strange new world where we all felt uncertain about our future. It wasn't easy at first, but we learned to adapt, and soon we mastered a new way of connecting with others. There may have been setbacks and disappointments while trying to achieve our goals as we navigated a very different senior year of high school from our freshman year, but each of us should be proud of the fact that we are graduating from Rhinebeck High School tonight. Sometimes we may start out without much of a plan or goal, but eventually those ideas take shape with each new adventure. Challenges in life are inevitable, but it's the lessons we have learned through our experiences that will help us to achieve our goals. As I reflect on my own experiences while living in Rhinebeck, I realize that I've learned more than just lessons for good grades. I've learned to overcome obstacles and use my talents to help others. If the arts have taught me anything, it is to appreciate the beauty of this world. If history has taught me anything, it is to learn from our ancestors and understand how our world has evolved into the day that we presently live in. If I have learned anything from languages, it is to effectively communicate with others so that we can appreciate and learn from one another. If math has taught me anything, it is to realize that 1 is not an isolated number, but can be part of a myriad of digits that can be added, subtracted, divided, or multiplied to demonstrate congruent or parallel relationships with an infinite number of solutions. If I have learned anything from science, it is that we can make new discoveries and collectively accomplish great achievements, even during times of great adversity, such as the pandemic we have lived through. If I have learned anything from running cross-country, it is that with practice, camaraderie, and friendship, you can push yourself to achieve your greatest potential. With guidance, we've successfully navigated this challenging new world we live in, and we are ready to achieve our goals and fulfill our dreams. Let's not forget the lessons we have learned while growing up in Rhinebeck as we become the generation that has overcome the worst pandemic in over a century. We have the opportunity to make this world a better place because of us, so why not change the world? No matter which path we choose after graduating from Rhinebeck High School, whether it is to immediately enter the workplace, enlist in the armed forces, explore new frontiers, or continue our education at college, now is the time for our metamorphosis, becoming the best version of ourselves that overcomes any obstacle and uses our talents to make a difference in the lives of others. Collectively, we can make a difference, and we can make this world a better place because of what we have learned despite the unprecedented challenges of the COVID pandemic and because of our experiences while growing up in Rhinebeck. I'm ready to change the world, class of 2022. Are you ready? Congratulations and best wishes, class of 2022.
Thank you, Logan. At this time, I would like to take a moment to recognize the people who worked to make today's ceremony possible. I'd like to recognize Director of Facilities Sheldon Teeter and his department, Craig Decker, Dave Doyle, Mike Kinn, Phil Athanas, Jason Region, Rich Van Cleek, Mike Schroeder, and Lori Bard. I'd also like to recognize Catherine Mostello and Stacy Vandenthorn, my colleague Mark Berg, Jane Christie, and May Rossi, our guidance department, Robert Haywood, Jeff Palazzolo, Sherry Mulkins, and Lisa Gilman, senior class advisor Donna Hahn, Laura Natalie, and the high school band, the professional staff and the teaching staff, and the district administration of Rhinebeck High School. And finally, on behalf of the faculty, I want to thank the parents of the class of 2022. And thank you for entrusting your children to our care. I would now ask Mark Berg and Board of Education President Diane Lyons forward to help award diplomas. Class of 2022, when your name is called, please come forward to receive your diploma. Bryce David Airstock. Mark A. Beecher. Catherine E. Bikert. Rayleigh L. Bentz. Ian H. Binney. Hannah Larkin Blass. Cameron Casano. Sana A. Chima. Evelyn Cooper. Brittany Cruz Cruz. Autumn Star Capano. Henry J. DeLue. Xavier Davey. Lucas P. Dentico. Alejandra Maria Jane Dickens. Johanna M. Doyle. Sean M. Duke. Johanna C. Dull. Logan Dykeman. Elizabeth G. Ellis. Liam Finnegan. Glenn T. Fowler. Lara M. Fusaro. Davin H. Green. Nadia Grossman. Benjamin Hutchings. Shay K. Jenkins. Aiden Kep. Radha Nori Lahiri. Anna Lawson. Lucy Lawson. Riley Lehane. Jack E. Manforty. Micah R. Marshall. Savannah L. Martin. Alexis E. Martinez. Megan MacArthur. Dante McClinchy. David A. Miller. Ryan Milne. Jesse G. Nathan. Colin Fitzgerald O'Connor. Riley H. O'Neill. Sarah E. Palastra. Sarah Perry. Edgar Eden Pastron. Michael J. Phillips. Brooke Alexa Pochask. Matthew V. Rakuya. Camden R. Rakow. Rebecca Pearl Reed. Colin Reichelt. Owen C. Rinaldi. Nicholas John Rocco. Marcus J. Roger. Emma Meta Ruger. Megan B. Russell. Gerson Santa Maria Turcios. Olivia Grace Selby. Emily Elizabeth Shute. Rose Snyder. Matthew Suter. Maeve Reagan Schwed. Owen B. Thomas. Jacob Valentino. Jack W. Viator. Laura Kathleen Voorhees. Ella Wolf. Joshua Luke Onderdonk Youngquist. Ashley R. Zolko. Thank you. Class of 2022, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, by the authority granted by the State of New York and the Board of Education of the Rhinebeck Central School District, I now pronounce the class of 2022 graduates of Rhinebeck High School. With all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto pertaining, graduates, as a symbol of your achievement, I ask you now to move your tassels from the right side to the left side of your mortarboards. Ladies and gentlemen, our graduates, the class of 2022.